All right. Hi, everybody. My name is Kayla Klein. I am the Director of Early Learner South Dakota, and we are bringing you a webinar today that goes over a page that we had one of our national partners create, Grace Reef. I'll let her do an introduction and talk a little bit about the organization that she represents, which is the Committee for Economic Development, or CED. We created this a few years ago, but of course it's been recently updated with the new election details and all of that coming up in November. So she is just going to walk you through today how that works, how it can be useful to you. And then again, like I said to some of you on who were on a little earlier, this probably won't last the full hour, but we hope that you guys can ask as many questions to myself and Grace as you would like while you have us on the call. This will be recorded so we can, if someone was in your organization who wasn't able to make it today, please feel free to share it out. So without further ado, Grace, I'm going to pass it over to you.
Hi, I'm Grace, and I'm glad to join you today. I'm a consultant. I work across states. I've been working with the Committee for Economic Development for over 10 years. They're a business-led group that works to hopefully have better public policy. They work on many different issues, but the one that I team up with them on is early childhood. Um, And so it's great to see that business leaders understand that access to quality childcare can really make a difference, not just for supporting the workforce, the parents, but also for kids. So with that, I can share my screen, right, Kayla? Yep.
You should be able to,
Okay.
yeah.
So on the South Dakota Early Learner webpage, um, there is, yeah, actually, it's under Get Involved, and you can go to Make Your Vote Count. But what it really is educational. It's not partisan. It's not, pushing one candidate or another. It's really about raising visibility about the importance of early childhood. The brain is developing the fastest during those years, setting a foundation for all future learning. um, how early, how access to early childhood settings can really make a difference. Um, that's kind of the why you should care. There's updated data. The Census Bureau just updated the American Community Survey data in September. So this page has the most recent data. A lot of candidates and elected officials are really looking at, well, what does the data show? What's the need? And so we tried on this page to give you that data, not to bore you, but to put all of the data related to kids in one place and families. Um, let's see, there's different sections, so you can flip around and go right to a section, but I'm going to just walk down the page because I think that's easiest. So what's at stake? I mean, regardless of political party, kids are kids. Kids live in families. So talking about what's your plan? What do you think? Those are natural questions to ask and understand. And maybe someone running for office or in office wants to learn more. And we've certainly given you all of the most current data for that. But those who we elect are the ones that set the agenda. They're the ones that pass bills. They're the ones that set policies. And so asking them what they think is a good thing. How are young children and families in South Dakota doing? Again, this is just more data. How many kids are under 3? How many kids under 6 are in working families? That kind of thing. Um, it is a little broader than childcare. It is about, there are families in which kids are not getting enough to eat or, are living in poverty. So there's some other data as well. And again, it's the most recent. Um, this early learner South Dakota policy priorities, kind of the vision, all kids are happy, healthy, thriving, that kind of thing. Um, there's a voter fact sheet, which again, it's not political. These are surveys that are throughout the country about the number of parents who support investments in early childhood or who believe that access to childcare would help them work or would help them, make sure that their child is safe in a quality setting while they go to work. The results of the polling, they're bipartisan, like overwhelmingly parents want a safe place for their kids to be while they work. Um, who's on the ballot in South Dakota? What we try to do here is, it can be confusing. The ballot is long. There's a lot of people on it. So, you know, who's running and what are they running for? And we link to state lists. These are, South Dakota state websites, government, agencies that list all of the candidates. And so if you wanted to see, you could go there. We list dates, when is the election? When's the voter registration deadline, to sign up if you want to vote? How do you, submit an absentee ballot, other dates on that? We try to anticipate what are the basic questions, that anybody might need to know. And this is good as an organizer tool, as well as, if you're out talking to other groups who work with parents or who work with others in the community, just to have kind of a clearinghouse page of what do I need to know and where do I go and how do I do it? And so, are you registered to vote? And you click here, you go to a state page. Information about registering to vote, like what do you need to bring with you if you want to register to vote? And that's spelled out here. And again, it's a state page. But once you are registered, where do you actually go to vote? And so that's here. Um, Absentee instructions. If you're going to mail in your ballot, this is just, some suggestions so that your ballot doesn't get caught up in maybe a mail log, depending on where you live, how long it takes for mail to be processed. So just some hints on this. And find your current members, of the legislature. We tried to comb through all of the various state agencies, state pages, and put them all in one place, kind of as a go-to tool. Let's see. Key information and dates. Some of this we just didn't leave to chance that, well, maybe people will click on the link, maybe not. So we brought out some of those things like, here's what you need to bring with you, a driver's license or a photo ID or U.S. Armed Forces ID. And then again, dates, September 20th is when the absentee voting began. November 4th is the deadline to request an absentee ballot. Election day, the polls are open from 7 to 7. And then we have some basic questions for candidates. And those are, again, nonpartisan. They're just meant to say, hey, parents in South Dakota are working. In fact, they're working, mothers are working in South Dakota at a higher rate than just about every other state. Finding someone to care for their kids while they're working is really important. What do you think about that? Some basic questions. At worst, you might find somebody who says, hey, that's a parent problem. It's on them. Or at best, maybe you find someone says, oh, yeah, once I get elected, I'm going to really support working families and access to childcare, and I've got a plan. Or maybe you've got someone in between who says, well, I don't really know that much about it, but I know obviously parents may depend on childcare, and that may be harder in some areas than others. So maybe that starts a discussion, and it's a great opening to educate either that state legislator or the person who's running for office for the first time. To say, let me give you a fact sheet. That's why we put the fact sheet earlier up on the website. But any way that we can help you, we want to. The idea is to get people elected, make sure that when people are elected, that they have the information they need to really support working families and understand some of the challenges that working families face. There are some suggestions here about, things that you can do. For example, they might have a town meeting and you can go to the town meeting. You can raise your hand and ask a question. Um, there's all kinds of ways to social media. There's all kinds of ways to heighten visibility that you are hopeful that those elected to office will support the needs of working families. And that's really on us. It's an educational thing, is the way I look at it. Um, Sample social media posts. We tried to be very, short, but you can cut and paste. Um, Sample images. These I love. I don't know who Kayla works with, but I can tell you this person's super talented. I mean, these are just great graphics. Use them, but a lot of it is about raising visibility, that there are needs for working families. And the other part of it is once you raise the visibility, to get some commitments. Yeah, I'm going to support working families, whatever it takes, or start the discussion. I want to learn more. It's a good thing. Um, so with that, um, with that, I'm glad to come back here and answer any questions with Kayla. But basically, we wanted to create a clearinghouse page about raising visibility and trying to get those who are running for office and who are in office to be responsive, or better yet, lead on family issues affecting working families in particular.
Thank you so much, Grace. And as a reminder, I put the link to the direct link in the chat for that. But obviously, this is really, really basic advocacy 101 information. And if you look at a lot of those links, a lot of them go to like the Secretary of State or the South Dakota State Legislature page. But of course, like Grace said, you can find those. But what we want to do is if you or groups of people you work for, like let's say you work with parents or other advocates or other advocacy organizations, and they want to know just the information about early childhood specifically, we tried to create that page where it really kind of just gave you the basics and some starting points. So like Grace mentioned, this is educational. It's meant for you to use as you need, or pass along to others as you need it. Sometimes, we have common misconceptions of what advocacy means, and it maybe is a little bit of a scary word. And so this website is hopefully shows people that it could just simply be asking a question. It could simply just be, hey, I really care about what this example social media post says, so I'm going to copy and paste it onto my personal or my business or something along those lines. So just helping people get a little bit more familiarized with advocacy efforts with early childhood throughout South Dakota, and that website hopefully making it just a little bit simpler. So with that, does anyone have any questions or comments? What would make this tool more useful to any of you would also be good feedback for us.
Or anything you wish you had that would help you raise visibility, let us know, because it's a webpage. We can always add to it.
Absolutely. My initial thought is that it's beautiful. Oh, well, thank you very much. Yes, making it eye appealing is always nice as well. Think it's great information to share with families. Thanks for sharing. Oh, great. And Barb is a principal in Custer. So that's great. Well, I really thought we'd make it to a half hour, but we might be ending at 19 minutes. But any other comments before we sign off? And I think I am going to just for some of, there was a couple of folks that entered just a little bit late, so I'm going to add the link one more time so you have the direct link that you could please feel free to share out.
I guess one thing that I would say is most of us are pretty busy in our day-to-day lives. We're trying to get through the day, we're trying to get through the week, we wear a million hats, got kids, whatever it happens to be. And let's say you do work in a school. This is not political, like, tied to one candidate. It's about, we are about families. We want all of our legislators to understand the issues that families face. And the only way they can is if we talk about it. And so that's what this is, some suggested messages, or frankly, make your own, but having kind of a cheat sheet, and that's what this page is, of where to go, some sample questions. You might think up better questions that, work for you. But if we can create kind of a buzz, what are you going to do for working families? That's all we're looking for, because legislators like to respond to their constituents. And so what that's what we're hoping to achieve, but it only works if people stand up and do it, right?
We do have a couple questions coming in, and actually, maybe I'll go to Rihanna first. Can we share everyone's socials to be sure to like posts when they share something to bump it for visibility? Would you mind explaining what you mean a little bit more about that?
When so like those graphics with those pictures and like the hashtag Sodak Kids Matter, the more those posts, like if I were to post them on my Facebook or my Instagram, the more those get liked and shared, the more that spreads, the more the algorithm, the secret god that controls what appears on our social media, will push that to other people, specifically if they're in South Dakota, or if they like the similar page, or if, like the more like somebody else might see it and then share it. And that's how things go viral, is my understanding.
Yeah. No, great idea. And I think it maybe goes a little bit along the lines of what Fran asked is, hey, everyone, Kayla, is there an approved social media spot to share? So I would say that we have one of these scheduled to go out. Early Learner South Dakota has a Facebook page, as well as SDAYC. I would say that both of those pages, if you have not liked or followed them yet, that would be a really good place to start. We have one of these post scheduled to go out today on Early Learner South Dakota, and then we're going to have a couple every week up until the election happens. So I'm trying to think, if you simply want to share it on your socials, that's probably the best way to do it. And also, now hearing from you, I think one step further I might take is simply to send out a toolkit with just the socials. So I think I'll put some of the images and verbiage just together for you guys, so you don't have to try to find it in the page, and you'll just have it. And then feel free to take any of them if you'd like and put them on your Facebook pages locally or your personal, that type of thing. Great idea and suggestion. Thank you. All right. Any other questions or comments? Yep, very good idea to keep the message clear, Fran. Absolutely. All right. Well, if there's nothing else, obviously you guys should all have access to my email. If you would like to ask any additional questions, you are more than welcome to reach out anytime. Yes, I want to thank Grace so much for coming and joining us again on another webinar, and for putting all the work into helping us create this page. I appreciate you all taking some time out of your afternoon, and hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Thank you all.
Thanks, everyone.